So we will start on our backs in constructive rest. So once you got all those buttons pushed, come down onto your back. Take a second to walk your feet out nice and wide. Let your knees drop in towards each other, and then just give everything a few seconds to find its way into a nice, comfortable situation. And then once you've got your body in a nice, good position, legs are supporting each other, tune right down to your feet and notice if you're holding tension in your toes or gripping your toes to kind of hold that position. Can you let your toes soften and relax? Knowing that your knees will support each other, your inner thighs will catch you if your knees decide to drop out of play. So just know that your legs are supported, your feet can chill out. And then with that idea of letting your feet find that soft, happy place to be, can you let your abdomen relax as well? So if you're holding any tension in your abdominal muscles, or just sometimes, especially women, we tend to hold our belly just in a slight sense of firmness. So can you let your abdominal muscles relax? And then once you've got your belly kind of softening, your legs are supporting each other, your toes and your feet are chilling out. Now tune into the shoulders, and specifically your shoulder heads. Are they rounded up towards the ceiling? Can you let your shoulder heads kind of soften and get nice and heavy into the ground? And then with that softer position with the body, if it feels comfortable to do so, can you close your eyes down and just allow your ears to listen in? So just start to notice the sounds of the room that you're working in, the sounds of your own body, and then maybe you can even reach out beyond that and notice the sounds outside of the room that you're working in. So maybe the sounds of the world, or just the sounds of your house, whatever you can hear, but just let all those sounds come in to meet your ears. And then if you can hear the sounds of the house that you're in, the room outside of the room that you're working in, or just the world around you, for a moment here, offer up a little bit of gratitude for your ears that can hear all those sounds and the safe space that you have to work in. And then before we move away from this gentle place of stillness, set an intention here to honor your mind and your body throughout your practice, never doing anything in your practice that would cause your body pain, and treating yourself with love, care, and respect. And with that intention set, we're going to bring a little bit of gentle movement into the head and the neck. So we're going to just a little tiny dip of the chin up and down, like you're trying to just nod your head yes, gently nodding up and down. So it's not going to be a big grand movement. The back of the head is connected to the floor, so you're not going to get big range of motion, but just a tiny little lift of the chin up and down. One more little lift of the chin up and down, and then take it into a little turn of the head side to side. Here you might find a little bit more increased range of motion, but take your time with it. Allow just a little bit of time to let the muscles warm up a little bit, and then turn your head side to side in a way that feels nice. Nice. Take one more turn of the head side to side, and then head is going to come back to center into a more still place. And then we're going to take it into some light mini windshield wipers with the legs. So we're just going to let the knees drop a little bit side to side. We're not going to try to get big full range of motion here, but we're just going to allow a little bit of gentle movement to come in. But then as you do that gentle movement here, can you start to tune in and notice that front pocket area where your front pockets would be, your front hip bones, and maybe even the sides of your hips. So just kind of tune in and notice, how are your hips feeling? How is your back feeling? And how does inviting that gentle bit of movement in feel to your body? As you started to move a little bit, do you pick up tension to protect certain parts of the body? No right or wrong, but just notice if you do. And now we're going to take a big drop of the knees. So we're going to let the knees drop over to the right and let them sink all the way down as far as they go. And then turn your head to the left, and that's it. That's the first posture right there, just like that. So we're going to let the knees drop over to the right. We're going to let the head be turned to the left. And then once you found your way there, everything else is going to get as soft and heavy as it can. So arms are going to be in a soft, loose, heavy position. Belly in a soft position, or as soft as you can let your abdomen be. And then see if you can just tune back into the sounds around you with as little effort in your body as possible. Relax your jaw, soften the space between your eyes. Keeping that sense of stillness, but notice. So as you turned your head to the left and the knees are over to the right, you might find the longer you're in this posture, you might be able to turn your head just a little bit further to the left. So if there's more range of motion to be found, you might choose to sink into it a little bit more. But if it felt good just as you were, you're just going to keep it just in that happy position. So whatever feels the best to you, finding that sense of softness and letting go. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, if your head was turned to the left, go ahead and bring your head back to center to start and then gently pick your legs back up to center, and then come back to those small little baby windshield wipers again, just rocking the knees a little bit side to side, soothe out anything in that front pocket area that may have gotten a little bit of unstuck energy. And then when you feel ready, we're going to drop the knees over to the left. Head is going to turn to the right. So that soft position, let your knees get nice and soft and heavy. And then once you found your way there, just come back to that awareness of your breath. So notice your inhalation, notice your exhalation, and just see where within your body can you reduce as much efforting as possible. Take a moment to notice if you've increased some range of motion in your head turn and you want to turn your head a little bit further, take a second to do that. But if you're happy just as you were, keep with that soft stillness. Take one more breath. And then slowly start to come out. So start by returning your head to center, gently bring your legs back in, maybe take some light windshield wipers again, just to kind of soothe out anything that may have come unstuck. And then when you feel like you've kind of got all of that soothed out, we're going to move right into Banananasana. So we're going to push into our feet, shift your hips over to the right, start to walk your feet down to the left corner of your mat, and then hands are going to come up to the top left corner of our mat. So we're going to get that nice little side bend going on. And then once you found your way there, just ask yourself if that feels like enough sensation, you're going to stick with it just as it is. But if you feel like a little bit more sensation is in your wheelhouse tonight, you'll stack your right foot on top of your left ankle. So crisscross ankles or no crisscross of the ankles, that'll be totally up to you. And then once you've found that depth of work that feels appropriate for you tonight, invite some softness and soften through the sides of your ribs. Soften your jaw. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly start to come back to center. So if your arms are up and overhead, gently release them down. Slide your feet in, step your hips back to center, and then maybe take a second to just assess, make sure everything feels good. And then the counter pose is just taking it right to the other side. So push into your feet, shift your hips over to the left, walk your feet down to the right corner of your mat. Arms up to the top right corner of your mat, and then you just ask yourself, does a stacked ankle feel good, or does it feel good to keep the ankles unstacked? That'll be totally up to you, whatever depth of work feels the best to you tonight. And then once you've found your way there, see if you can just invite that softness back in, breathing into the left side of the body, allowing your shoulders to be soft and heavy. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly start to release. Maybe release your arms to start. Walk your feet back in, shift your hips around. And then once you come back to center, pull both knees into your chest. Give yourself a light little squeeze, maybe a gentle rock side to side. And then check in here and just notice how your back feeling. Next posture we're going to get into is going to be a forward fold. So if you like, grab your two pillows. I grab my pillows. So we're going to play around with what might feel like the most optimal position for our pillows or for our props for a forward fold. So to play around, just for a little funsies, put one pillow under your butt and one pillow underneath your knees. And then I find that with this configuration, with the pillow under my butt, the pillow under my knees, I actually want it kind of folded in half, so it creates a little bit of an little extra something something. So it's going to really support my knees in a way that feels good. So See if that feels good to have the pillow under your butt, pillow under your knees, and then we're going to fold forward from there. So it's going to be a nice, soft, relaxed, folded position. And then if you get there and you're like, no, that doesn't feel good, then you might choose to take the 2 stacks of pillows and place them on top of your thighs and kind of fold over it from there. So you're going to play around with, if this feels good, awesome, keep it just as it is, find your fold and soften. But if this feels like it's not beneficial or you're just not feeling it, switch it around or just move the pillows out all the way if it feels like a better way to go. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly, slowly, slowly bring yourself up and out of that fold. Prop your knees up a little bit, slide any props you got out from underneath your knees, out from underneath your butt, and then we're going to spin it around and find our way into tabletop position and move right into puppy pose. Now you can take your pillows with you and stack your arms on top of it, or you can take a pillow, place them under your shins and your knees. So if a little bit of cushioning under your shins and your ankles might feel nice to you tonight, maybe one pillow under the shins, one pillow out in front, and then just find your way into your puppy pose. So the hips are going to stay fairly in line with the knees. If you feel like the pillow underneath your arms or your shins feels like it's just not the place for you to be tonight, then just take your props and scooch them out of the way. Whichever variation of puppy pose might feel good to you. Let your chest and your forehead sink down. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly and mindfully bring yourself back up to tabletop position. Take your time and then just take a couple little gentle cat and cows, just to kind of move a little fluid back into the spine. And then once you feel like you've got all of that worked out, we're going to take it right into extended child's pose. So you can take your pillows with if you feel like it would be nice to have a nice stack of pillows in between your legs or right in front of your torso, but big toes together, knees nice and wide. Take your time as you find your way to that, and then fold yourself down to a depth that feels good to you. And here's a place where that stack of pillows can be placed right in front of you, and you can just rest your whole torso on there. So if that feels like a nice beneficial thing, grab those pillows, stack yourself up. And then if your head is turned in one direction, I'll just tell you at the halfway mark to turn your head the other way. So get settled onto your stack and then really let everything get nice and soft and heavy here. We're at that halfway point. So if you want to turn your head to the other side, go ahead and do that. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly and gently bring yourself up and out. We're going to move right into a wide leg fold. So if you want to keep your stack of pillows nearby, you're just going to spin your legs out to a nice wide configuration, whatever width of configuration works good for you. So that's going to look different on everybody. Just make sure it feels like a comfortable, sustainable position. And that might also mean that you keep your legs super bent and your feet flat on the ground. So that can be a really comfortable position, and you can still use your stack of pillows with your legs bent. So if you feel like a nice bent knee position might be the fold for you tonight, bend your knees a lot and then see how that feels. And if you're like, you get there and you're like, oh, that's not quite enough sensation, then you might choose to extend your legs and let them be a little bit longer, but you find the variation that would feel really good to you, just depending on how your legs feel. You will find it with the wider position, you're going to get a little bit more inner thigh and groin sensation. With the bent knee position, it might just vary up where you feel sensation in your body. So just find the one that feels the best. And then once you're there, let everything soften and settle in. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly bring yourself up away from your stack of pillows. Move your pillows out of the way and then just help your legs come together a little bit. Bend your knees, swish out your hips a little bit. And then from here, now the next posture that we're going to get into, we will want the pillows nearby, but they're going to be behind our back. So set up your stack, scoot your butt around so that the pillows are behind you. And now we're going to start with the right leg, see how we feel from there. And then we'll pick our time frame based on what we've got going on with the legs. So you're going to start by leaning over into your left hip and swing your right foot out so that your heel is towards the outside of the butt. Now, once you lean back onto your hip, you might feel like you would want a pillow underneath your butt to support. So play around if that feels like a position where you want to support underneath your hip, and then you might tuck a pillow underneath. But if it feels okay to come all the way so that you're evenly weighted on both sides of your glutes, then you're just going to lean back into your stack of pillows a little bit. Hopefully here you're going to find a little bit of sensation through the top of the thigh, but just based on how your thighs have been feeling, if that feels like it's like too much, then we're going to come out of it right away. But if it feels okay, lean back, get settled in. We're going to stay 1 minute on one leg, 1 minute on the other, and then over time we'll build up to this and then get like really deep into it once we feel like we're good with staying with it for just a minute. So if you can settle in, relax your abdominal muscles best you can, let your shoulders kind of chill out. Take one more breath. And then come up and off nice and slow and easy. If it helps, lean into that left hip right away and swing that foot out, and then just give everything a second. Wiggle out your toes, wiggle out your ankle, bow out your knees a little bit, make sure everything feels okay. And then one side might be totally different than the other. So if you get to the other side and your other side's like, no, then you honor that. But if it feels okay, roll over onto the right side, swing that left foot in just to your comfort level, see how that feels to roll back onto the hip. And you might find on this side that it's better to tuck a pillow under the glute on this side compared to the other. But if it feels good, then you're just going to lean back onto your stack of pillows just as far as feels good to you. And then just give everything a second. Let your quadricep muscles relax. Let your belly relax. Take one more breath. And then slowly bring yourself up and out. So you might choose to roll over to the right just so you can easily swing that foot out. And I say easily, like easier said than actually done, right? Bop the knees out, wiggle your ankles, make sure everything feels okay. And then we're going to start to find our way back down to the ground, but have your stack of pillows nearby. So come down onto your back. Take a second to just get everything rearranged. Make sure your clothes feel like they're in a good position. Your feet feel like they're in a good position. We're going to take the right leg across the left into a figure four. And this is where we're going to stay. So we're going to take our right hand to the right inner thigh and just let the weight of your hand rest on your inner thigh. So we're not going to go any further than this. We're going to keep the legs nice and solid just as they are and breathe into this space. It's only going to be a 1-minute hold, but we are going to finish with a back bend with our pillows. So just know that we're not quite done yet, but let your hand just rest on the inner thigh. Take a couple nice deep breaths here. Take one more breath. And then grab hold of the outside of that thigh. And we're just going to bring it in and out a little bit. So it's going to still rest against the left leg in that figure 4 configuration, but use your hand to manipulate. So try to let your arm do the heavy lifting here and just pull the leg slightly in and out, just to kind of move it around in the hip socket. And then once you feel like you've kind of gotten a nice loose rhythm going on, take 1 or 2 more movements of the leg and then step that foot off, and we're going to switch right over to the other side. Left leg is going to come across the right into that figure 4 position. The left hand is going to rest on the inner thigh. So you're just going to let the weight of your hand do all the rest of the work. And then once you've got your way there, invite some softness in. Relax your abdominal muscles, relax your jaw. Take one more breath. And then use your hand, grab the thigh, and then just help, let your hand do the work. Pull that leg in and out just a little bit. Nice. One more little in and out with that leg. And then when you're ready, step that foot off. Now we're going to bring our arms into our I Dream of Genie arms, with that square across the chest. And we're going to just pull the elbows a little bit side to side. The idea here is to create a little bit of gentle movement that creates a little space in the thoracic spine area. We just want to open up and create some space so that we can finish with our back bend. So take a couple of pulls side to side. And then if it feels really good, you can pull side to side and move up and down. So you might choose to bring a little bit of that up and down action in as well, but only if that feels good. Awesome. One more little pull side to side. And then when you're ready, we're going to start to get ourselves set up for our Shavasana. Now, ideally, Shavasana will finish tonight with our back bend. So you're going to take your stack of pillows in a nice double stack. It's going to be along the tailbone. We're going to butt it up against the butt just as tight as we can get it so that we can lean back over the stack of pillows. And then we're going to take a second to just get that all arranged. So we want to make sure the pillows feel good. And then you're going to see, where would your legs land the best? Would it feel good to take it into more of a broken fish configuration with the legs nice and long? Or would it feel better to bring the legs back in and come into sort of a constructive rest? So, or if you want a little bit of a cobbler's pose, soles of the feet together. So if that would feel like a better way to go, get your legs set up and then just give everything a little bit of time. Let your arms open out as wide as they can. Take a quick assessment, make sure everything feels good and supportive. If you need to make any adjustments to the pillows, to your clothes, to your mat, or any of the space that you're working in. Once you've got your way into a nice, happy configuration, if it feels available, close your eyes down. You always have the option to stay in your Shavasana just as long as you like. But if you feel called to do so, start to gently reawaken your body. Wiggle your fingers, gently move your toes. Deepen your breath. If it feels good, take it into a nice big good morning stretch like a yawn, stretching your arms up and overhead, reaching long through your legs. Take a nice big breath back into your body. And then slowly, 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 as slow as you can manage, start to find your way up to a seated position, but take your time as you come up. The best Shavasana ever. Awesome. All right, take a second and just stack your hands on your heart, and we're just going to gently move the skin and connective tissue. So you're just going to put a little gentle pressure on, draw a couple of circles in one direction, let your eyes close down, just feeling that nice connection of your hands and your heart. And then draw those circles in direction going the other way. Awesome. And then let your hands come to stillness, bow your head to your heart. Take a second to just come back to your breath. Notice the movement of breath underneath your hands. Breathing in love and gratitude for yourself, for your mind, for your body, and the time that you take to take care of yourself. Take one more nice big inhale, and as you let that exhale go, see if you can let your shoulders soften, let your jaw relax, and think about letting go of anything you're holding on to that won't serve you through the rest of your night. And then when you feel ready, gently lift up through the top of your head, gently open your eyes. I bow to you. Happy, happy Monday.